Alright, welcome to Vieques. Little flight today to Culebra in the Cessna 152. It's November 4753 X-ray. Alright, let's get right to it. We don't need to push back. Alright, fuel is on. Mixtures rich. Alright, rotating beacon on, mixture rich, carb heat is cold. Master switch on, there's no fuel pump. Gonna prime the engine. 1, 2, 3 shots of prime. Alright, throttle open about a ½ inch. Hand on the throttle. Engage the starter. Magnetos to both, throttle to 1000 RPM, check your oil pressure. Oil pressure is looking good. Let's lean the mixture for taxi. Okay, and we're going to turn on our taxi light. Turn on those lights there. Hopefully these dudes will get out of our way. Alright. Disengage the parking brake. Alright, so hopefully this guy will get out of the way. He's not gonna get out of the way. Dude, there's an airplane coming. Okay, let's test the brakes. Brakes are working. Alright, so taxiway is clear. We're going down this way because we want runway 9. Alright, so here's what we're going to do today. This is a cold and dark start. We're in Vieques. We're going over to Culebra, which is about 15 nautical miles. So it should be a pretty quick flight. We got a little bit of a headwind. Nothing that really matters too much. But what I want to do is show you, well, two things really. I mean, Culebra, first of all, has the water masking that kind of a lot of the discussion has been about in terms of Flight Simulator 2020. And I'll show you what I mean if you don't know what I'm talking about when we get there. It's kind of like the underwater rock formations and, you know, coral and things like that that look really, really neat. And the other thing I want to do is check out, somebody made a freeware airport update for Culebra, and I want to check that out. Culebra is a really cool little island, and I kind of discovered it on watching flying videos on YouTube, and it's a really neat little island in real life, and it's a really neat little island to fly into in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So we're doing this cold and dark like you saw. The engine start procedure in this airplane is really simple. One of the cool things about it. I'm gonna stop right here and do my ground checks without turning towards the runway up there, because that way I'd have to hold aileron correction. Alright, so flight controls up on that side, down on that side. Move this here real quick. Up on that side, down on that side. Flaps. All the way down on that side. All the way down on that side. All the way up on that side. All the way up on that side. Aileron is looking good. Alright, now we box the controls. What I mean by box the controls is you just go in and out and all around and make sure there's nothing you know, encumbering the flight controls at all. Alright, so the parking brake is set. Mixture is rich. Let's go throttle to about 1700 RPM. Alright, throttle 1700. Left magneto, a little bit of a drop. Back to both. Right magneto, a little bit of a drop. Back to both. Carb heat all the way out. Carb heat, you get a bigger drop rather. Carb heat is in. Oil pressure is good. Back to 1000 RPM. The reason you want to be exact when you do your run up in terms of where you set the throttle. Let's do throttle idle check. Alright, the throttle idle check is good. The reason you want to be at exactly 1700 and not about 1700, like I said, is because you want to know, you want to be able to see what that drop is, and you want to be precise about it. You don't want to say, oh, I think it dropped a little bit. Let's see. Altimeter should be about 3006 is what the local altimeter setting is right now. Using real world traffic and real world weather, so that should be correct. And let's get on our way here. We're going to depart to the north. And in reality, we're actually on a heading of, on course heading of 064, so, and actually, hold on, brakes here for a second. Let's turn off the taxi light and put on the landing light. Let's also turn on our transponder to altitude mode. Alright, here we go. Looking down final, don't see anything coming.
Approaching runway 09.
And that's ForeFlight that you hear right there.
Enter runway 09, 4,200 feet remaining.
Okay, runway is clear. We got 9 on the heading indicator for runway 9, that's accurate. So, mixture's rich, carb heat's cold. Power coming in. Power is set. Power looks good. Oil pressure is good. Airspeed is alive. 65. And rotate and off we go. Like climbing about 75. One of the things I like about Microsoft Flight Simulator is that I actually fly a Cessna 150 in real life, which is where this tail number comes from, 4753 X-ray. And I try to fly it as realistically as possible, and it really keeps your head in the game, so to speak, aviation-wise. And what I'm realizing right now, what I already realized, is that I didn't set the trim for takeoff. So which is why I'm going 85 right now instead of 75, which is what I want to be doing. And you might say, well, what's the big deal? But I like to be as precise as I can be when I'm flying. Microsoft Flight Simulator kind of as a training tool, or at least a tool to keep me fresh. You need to be precise. Like I almost forgot to set the transponder, but I did forget to set the trim for takeoff. So there's the island of Puerto Rico there. Off in the distance there, off our nose, is St. Thomas. This is Vieques. That's the U.S. military base at Vieques over there, that airstrip there. And over here about our 11 o'clock is the island of Culebra, which is pretty popular tourist spot. And it is windy today, which you will notice probably on the landing. It was about 060 at 18 to 20 knots is what I saw. I'm gonna get flight following just so I can get an altimeter setting. Alright, so we'll level out here. Need the mixture just a little bit because I know that the engine likes it a little bit in this sim. I'm going to cancel flight following. I'm not sure it's going to let me switch radio frequencies here. Ah, there we go. Alright, well it's not going to let me switch radio frequencies, which is no big deal. So I have pulled back the power, started a little descent here. It's a really quick flight. I had to tune that manually, the radio, because there's some sort of glitch there. So we're heading into Vieques, heading into Culebra. And the airport is kind of right over in that area. If you were to, probably right over about in here. We're going to do a little loop around the island and come into runway 13 over here. And you'll see why once we get over a little closer. That island off there in the distance again is St. Thomas. You've got I think it's a Class Charlie airspace over there. It's a pretty busy airport. I've got live traffic enabled. You can't hear the radio through this, but there were some American Airlines flights going in there. Beyond St. Thomas are St. John's, and then you get into the British Virgin Islands over there, which are pretty neat islands as well. There's Puerto Rico, Vieques. So like I said earlier, the two real reasons I wanted to look at this today, number one is to show you the water masking, which you'll see as you can start to see a little bit of the turquoise that's coming up in the water. And as we get closer to the island, you'll see it a lot better. And a lot was made about the trailers for the game having all this gorgeous water, and then kind of where was it once the rich mixture here, where was it once the game was actually released, and it's kind of come and gone from some places, I guess. Like it was there for a while and it disappeared, so it's kind of like a hunt for the water masking, as it were. And I found a website that has kind of some suggested places to fly, and Culebra was one of them that had the water masking, and it's really neat. So you might kind of think, okay, what's the point of flying a Cessna 152 in this simulator? And like I mentioned earlier, I fly a 150 in real life, which is quite similar to the 152. It's basically the 152 is newer, handles a bit differently. The flaps are a little bit different, and it has a massive power increase over the 150. The 150 has a 100 horsepower engine, and the 152 has a 110 horsepower engine. So it's a massive power upgrade. But they fly very similarly, and I find that this airplane handles very true to life, and it's just a lot of fun to fly. And both in real life and in the sim. And so this is what I fly. I do a lot of flying around the Caribbean, just looking at these little islands and enjoying life in the slow lane, I guess. See, I mean, it's really pretty neat. To me, this is, you know, without question, I mean, the only simulator that I've ever seen where you can just literally just go do VFR flights without any installed scenery, and it's just beautiful. There's the little airport right dead ahead there, right where I'm looking. And again, you can see all these, you know, the water as it, the rocks and the kind of coral and stuff as you get closer to the shore. And it is allowing me to contact the airport on the radio now, or to transmit on the proper frequency, the Takeoff. So, you know, a lot of people are into the airline thing, or, you know, flying the TBM, and I'm flying the TBM a little bit. The TBM is a lot of fun, the 930. You know, to each their own, I guess, but this to me is fun. And I mean, the scenery is just gorgeous. Getting a little sunshine here. We're turning a very lazy downwind leg. And this is a tricky little runway because it's especially approaching it from this end. Approaching it from the north and landing southeast, because you'll see it, but you come down over this hill through kind of a V in the valley, and you've got to make a pretty steep approach. Not a big deal on the 152, but certainly will keep you on your toes. The other neat thing I think about the 152 is that it you can make really good crosswind landings in it. It handles very well in that regard. It doesn't handle very well on the ground. I find the rudders are really kind of twitching a little bit. I don't know, the ground handling just isn't all that great, but in terms of actual landings, like the 150, the 152 has great crosswind handling, and that's pretty neat. All right, so carb heat is coming on. I don't want to get too distracted by what I'm looking at that I forget to fly. All right, mixture's rich, carb heat's on. Bring the power back to about 1900. Start slowing down into flap operating range here. Get into the white arc. Alright, we're in the white arc. Put in that first notch of flaps. Alright, we are on downwind. Put in the second notch of flaps. We're going to be going into that little cove there. Alright, mixture's rich, carb heat is full, flaps are set, airspeed is good, and you'll see the runway as we get into this, I guess you can see a little bit now. See, we're getting that wind. It's pushing us a little bit right. A pretty decent crab angle towards where we're going. You can see we're going towards the green lights at the end of the runway, but that nose is pointing pretty significantly to the left. Alright, power is out. Came in a little high, but just being the 150, it's really not that big a deal. Airspeed is okay. No question I'll be able to get it down and stopped. So, into the flare a little bit. Crosswind. Not bad. Not bad. Came in a little high, and let's stop here for a second. Carb heat in, lean the mixture a little bit, put the flaps up. Came in a little bit high, and I always feel like a little bit high is better than a little bit low, especially when you've got terrain like that. That's the valley we came through right there. So you can see the runway is offset from, you know, obviously the angle we came in from. But not too bad. I mean, I know, I knew, first of all, you got a strong headwind, which is going to help you, just going to give you a slow ground speed, obviously, when you're coming in. And it's also going to help you stop, quite quickly, especially in this airplane. All right, so mixture idle cutoff, throttle idle. There we go. Lights off. Magnetos off. Master switch off. And that's that. Hope you guys enjoyed the flight.